Cheerios, Anthony Dewart.
Hey, what's up? Just woke up. Sorry, I'm eating my breakfast.
As well as you know him as the Sub-Zero hero, Kenny Castro.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's your boy, Kenny.
We are letting our phantom producer have a well-deserved week off. Kenny is handling things on the technical end, so hope everything sounds and smells as good as it usually does. But
Oh yeah,
this is a special episode because we are doing our first look back to where we started way back at the end of 2019, where we made our predictions on what we thought was going to be our game of the year in 2020, as well as some resolutions that we had that were mostly gaming related or related to the channel / Twitch, what have you. So we're going to see where we met expectations, where we completely didn't, and what we want to do going forward in 2021. Because, yeah, we've been at this for a while now, and I'm proud of us sticking with it through the pandemic. We've done almost as many remote episodes as we've done in person at this point, and yeah, thanks for anybody who's listening. If you give us a like, a subscribe, that's much appreciated, as well as joining our Discord so you can really jump into the community. You can find that in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on podcast services, go to the YouTube video and join up later. Anyway, guys, how you doing this week? It's been quite a tumultuous one for our country. How about in your personal zones?
just eating some Cheerios. I'm pretty good right now. Everything's pretty good for the moment.
Yeah, well, you have got your sleep schedule back to unpredictable, we shall say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh yeah.
Once you were laid off due to, I'm sure, COVID-related crap. So you're like many millions of Americans right now. So do you, is what I say. Sleep
Thank
when
you.
you want. Yes.
That's in the global pandemic. You can't do anything better than relax.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Kenny?
Listen, the week, as everybody knows, it has been insane. I would have then finally set fire in my neck of the woods if my Saints would have lost this weekend. Little shout out to my Saints. We took the Bears down. Went bear hunting this weekend. And you know what, Wiley? I was just thinking, right? You were asking that, and I'm like, oh, how's my week been? Well, you know what? What you want to know? One thing that sucks about 2021 already.
Already? Yep. What?
I wanted to finish my arm sleeve, like you see it, like right. I had some ideas for finishing my arm sleeve. I was gonna do an anime leg sleeve, but
baby.
But my tattoo guy, my boy Jay Frost, moved to New Orleans.
Oh,
Dang.
So now he's forcing me to travel to New Orleans to get my tattoos.
that sucks.
That's a bummer. Speaking of travel, I have some good personal news. Elena and I just booked our first summer vacation in June. We're going to
Nice.
Algonquin, Maine. Got a room right on the beach, which we've never had.
Ooh.
So that's going to be dope. I
Nice.
really hope that everything's, it won't be fully back to normal, but I also found out I'm getting my vaccine this weekend, my first one. We can talk about whatever that at a later date, but
Nice.
it's exciting for me.
Nice.
Hey,
And other than that,
it's not a bad thing. Vaccines are good. It's all personal choices for people.
Oh yeah.
That's good that you're getting it, Wiley. I know you
Hell
work
yeah.
with the elderly, and let's keep them safe. If this is one step that you can take to keep them safe, then all power to you, man.
much appreciated.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, work's been honestly pretty tough on me this week. Just got a couple cases that are giving me more grief, and I'm a social worker for the elderly. They mentioned I work with old folks, and it's been tough to coordinate between a lot of different stuff going on. So I usually am able to turn off at 5 o'clock and just not worry about it. This weekend, it was certainly in the back of my mind how this was going to pan out, and it's panning out in a fashion that is not ideal at this point. So I'm hoping things turn around, but I'm not exactly optimistic. But
They will, man. It shows that you care and that you're a good employee, and that you were the right person for the job. If you're still having lingering thoughts about your clients in the back of your head after off the clock.
yeah, true that.
You're like you're a JD from Scrubs.
Oh, okay. That's a show that surprisingly flew by me. I
Wow,
have so
really?
many friends that are real big fans. I have seen maybe half a dozen episodes, and it just seems like too late now.
It's good. It is. I tried to go back, but I also watched like the shit out of it back in high school. Like that was my favorite show in high school.
So you got the nostalgia thing going for it.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. We've been rewatching The Sopranos, or at least I'm rewatching it. Elena's never seen it, and it's so good.
I've heard really good things about that.
It holds up so well, and I hear that actually The Sopranos has been one of the most rewatched series of 2021 or 2020, just because the whole new generation of young folks discovering it and finding it surprisingly relatable. Tony's sort of worldview.
I was gonna say, have you watched The Wire?
Oh yeah, big fan of The Wire.
The Wire is a really good one. Yes.
Yeah, I would say The Wire is probably the best show ever made.
Yeah.
I would say The Sopranos I mean, it's super cliche that those are always sort of the top tier HBO shows
But when
of
you
the early 2000s.
when you rewatch them, you can see why. I think the only gripe with The Sopranos is how it ends. Other than that, the show for the most part held through amazingly all the way through, and you can rewatch it as many times as possible, and it stands the test of time. And The Wire was just so good.
Yeah,
It was amazing. Like even when you first started off with Avon Barksdale, you know, and moved on, it was great, great show.
I know.
The Wire was good enough to have a whole HCC class
Yes,
built around it.
Really?
It
My best friend in college.
If you took criminal
Took that.
justice, you
Yep.
had that whole class. You got, they reviewed, they went through The Wire and just talked about it.
That's really cool.
Nice.
I certainly enough to go on there. You got season 1, which is sort of mainly about the drug dealers. Season 2 introduces a whole new cast of characters with the dock workers.
Yep.
Season 3 a little bit back to basics with the more focus on the drug trade, but there was just so much drama in that season between Avon and who's Idris Elba's character.
Wow. It's
Starts with an S, right?
Stringer Bell.
Stringer, yeah. That stuff was just incredible. And
Yeah,
then,
because you had Avon wanted to keep running the street.
don't just
But they're brothers. They're brothers. For anybody's wondering, in the show, the drama between brothers.
yeah, that's great stuff. And then Omar becomes like a mythical figure by the end of season 5.
Man, Omar is my favorite character throughout the whole series.
Yeah, I have to say he's probably mine as well. Maybe with who's another great one? The Bubbles. His
Yes.
ups and downs are incredible to watch. Just a classic.
What's the cop's name? She.
Oh, Bunk.
Yep, Bunk.
Bunk is such a classic
Bunk.
actor.
Every single time he'd come on and something crazy happened, she.
Oh, that's where that came from. I've heard that memed on a couple times. So I'm like, what's that? Shit.
And there's the great scene, Kenny. I don't know if you remember back in, I can't remember what season it was, but he's investigating a crime scene, a murder, and literally the entire scene is him just walking around saying, "Fuck,
Yep.
fucker," and it's like a 3-minute scene.
Yep.
And
The longest fuck set on
then you had
national television.
You had the rise and down, like the roller coaster ride of what was McNulty's characters.
Yeah, it was like, the main character in season 1, you barely see him. In season 4, he's just like on a patrol, like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just chilling now.
Yep. Yeah, such a great show.
For sure.
But Wiley, let's remind
That's
everybody
awesome.
what this is about.
This, if you didn't know, is a weekly video game podcast where we all get together and talk about, you guessed it, video games.
Nice.
Going to be a look ahead to 2021, a look back at our hilarious predictions for 2020, and how Raw turned out to be for the most part. So, what's everybody been playing? Kenny, I know you've been busy with your usual Game Pass joints. You've beaten a couple more games this week, trying to surpass me.
Listen, I was like, what's Wiley's top number? That's going to be part of my resolution this year. I'm topping it. Add 5 to Wiley's record. That's the number I'm shooting for this year.
Yeah, but they can't be all those Burger King games you bought last week. I saw you. Can't be, all right, Mr. Big Bump and Sneak King. I see you.
Whoa,
Are you
whoa,
serious?
whoa, 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 whoa.
I wish.
Okay.
I wish.
Not
That's
Burger King games do not count.
you guys remember those, right? You everybody knew a kid who was like, I know Kenny's still an achievement hunter, but I knew this kid who would go to GameStop and buy specifically the games in the bargain bin for like 15 and under because he was just getting all the achievements because you could get them in like a day.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
No.
the sad way to live.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you told me one. Which do you want to talk about first? There's a few.
Let's start with the brief one, which is 2K21.
Okay.
I jumped in, and I know when I have mentioned it to you guys, I know Wiley said, yeah, you should jump in, give it a shot. I did download the next generation 2K21, and I made my player, and I made a small forward, scoring machine, small forward. My guy's a very big outside shooter, and I took my talents to South Beach online, and I got held to 3 points.
Really? Oh, and you're 5-on-5.
The 5-on-5 wreck against other players whose players are like 95s, and my 85 trucking along on the court.
At least you started in 85. When I was playing 2K20, you started it in the 60s.
Oh, you do start in the 60s, but I dropped $30 that I had in rewards points.
There it is. There it is.
I didn't know you could time travel. I didn't know you could time travel with Microsoft points.
Oh, well, I took the Microsoft points and I bought the hyperbolic time chamber, right?
What?
And I entered, came out 10 minutes later, and I was at 85. And I had the Super Saiyan buff form.
The bus, and I wish if they had that, then I'd start playing sports games.
And then I jumped online, right? And then they hit, then Perfect Cell hit me, and I was like, "Where's Gohan?"
Where's go? I guess Sensu Bean.
But
So,
yeah, this is a tough thing to get into late in the game. This game's been out already for a little bit, so you have people who already mastered the shot meter down, who know the ins and outs, the nooks and crannies of this game, and I'm just jumping in as a casual right now and trying to see how it goes and what happens.
so many people are so into the my player portion of the 2K games. It seems like that's where the majority of the microtransactions are, as evidenced by you. You had those points, felt like, why not? I'll throw them into my 2K guy. I have just personally, and I don't know what your feelings on this is, that the game is just so much more fun when you're controlling a whole team.
Yes.
That's been my thing. I thought it was really neat a couple years ago when I scanned my face into the game and it looked really a lot like me.
That's awesome.
But I just couldn't get into the story mode. I don't like just playing as one character. I like being able to call the shots, play as the point guard, do a give and go, do a dunk with my center, and that's just the way that I play basketball games since I was a kid, back starting with NBA Live 98. So I guess I just don't. That's never grabbed me. Maybe I haven't given enough of a chance, but the whole microtransactions things really turns me off. But what I want to hear about specifically is how does it run on the Series X? Is it giving you the wow factor?
Yeah, it really does. This game really pops at you while you're playing it, and it's 2K. Like 2K's been looking amazing year after year,
Yeah,
So
how's the sweat?
the sweat, man, you see it. You see the perspiration from afar on the court. You can even you can stop, zoom in, take your camera and go zoom in, see your sweat if you want to.
Do they have people come out and wipe it off on the floor when players fall down?
Actually, honestly, I haven't paid attention to that. I'm like,
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm playing the my player games, I'm like flying through it, trying to get my shots up or get my playing time in. I'm like, Coach, why you sitting me? I got 25 points. We're losing by 3.
So who they got announcing these days, if you can recall?
They have if I'm correct, the TNT crew.
I think the TNT crew does like the intros and halftime shows, but
Yes.
like they've had the guy that's been doing it forever, and he's always matched with like 2 other folks. Like
Yes.
it used to be Steve Kerr for a while, and I can't. If you
I'm gonna pay attention because it'd be interesting to see if it's Mark and Steve Van Gundy.
Oh, yeah,
It would
that'd
be
cool.
interesting if it's them because if they're gonna. I would personally, if I was gonna pick color commentating for the game, or just any in-game commentary, it'd have to be Mark Jackson and Van Gundy for me.
Van Gundy would be really funny if he just started doing stuff like breaking the fourth wall of the game. Like, why would they make it like that? It's too easy to make a free throw.
And that is such a Van Gundy thing to say. I love watching any games of Van Gundy and Mark do together.
Yeah, they're great. They got great chemistry, and Van Gundy, you love his just willingness to call bullshit out when it's out.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
flopping should be illegal.
And of course, as everybody knows, I'm a Knicks fan. That's our coach right there.
True that. Yeah, he was there for a long time.
Yes,
All
he
throughout
actually
the 90s,
he
early
brought
2000s.
us to a playoff on a playoff run. We made
Oh, you mentioned that.
we made the finals with him.
Yeah, I mean the finals. I was going to say against the
Yeah.
Spurs.
We lost,
Um,
but
I know. I was watching. And didn't they get to the finals too against the Bulls in the mid '90s?
we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bulls.
Okay,
Yep.
word. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's get to something I've been playing. I've been playing more Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm on floor 12, and based on the elevator where I'm ascending, trying to save Mario and the gang, there are 15, so I'm getting close to the end. And I think the game is exceptionally well designed for the most part. Maybe exceptional is putting it a little too far, but it's got that Nintendo sheen of quality. Everything works the way it should. I've been playing a lot of glitchy ass games recently, so that's been nice not to have to deal with anything like that. I think there's maybe a little bit too much of an emphasis on boss fights. Some like they're totally hit or miss in my opinion so far. Some of them they're all sort of puzzly, where you just need to spend 2 to 5 minutes figuring out how you even want to do any damage, and then it can feel a little bit finicky, and they go on a little longer than you might expect them to. And I found some where I'm like, oh yeah, that was really neat, and then there was other like with wow, this is such bullcrap. This is just annoying, and so yeah, that is what it is. But I think that overall, I think it's neat that they went with this sort of structure for the game. How you're just going from floor to floor. Each one has a totally different theme. You got a movie studio theme, and you got a museum, and you got a pirate theme. And you got sort of an industrial one in the basement, which was neat. You get to go down to floor B2, and pretty involved puzzle sequence there. The game is more, puzzly than I expected, or just sort of you really need to analyze the environments to make sure you're not missing stuff. And I don't know really what I expected. It's been a long time since I played a Luigi's Mansion game. I guess they've always been that way. But as somebody that mostly likes to think with my fingers as opposed to my head when I'm playing games, it's something that I play in like hour and a half spurts. Then I got to turn off the brain power. So still liking it.
Okay.
Anthony, anything that you're playing? I know that we got you in late, so there might be you didn't add anything to the outline, but figure out.
Sorry, I beat Nexomon. If anyone remembers
All right.
me talking about that, that was interesting. It's good. It's a fun monster catcher game, and I think the coolest thing, at least to me, of note about it is that it's still getting very heavy developer support. Like they're still adding stuff to it. There's been a bunch of free updates. They are still in the works of a giant free content update that includes like trading, like other stuff, online PvP, which is crazy to see from something that's not Pokemon. And it's for a game that's relative. I think it's like $20, $30 maybe. I think it's $20 on the eShop.
It's only $10 on Steam.
Wow. Yeah, and there's a whole Discord for it. They have they've added a whole bunch of stuff since I went back and started playing it. They have like their shiny variants. If you're a Pokemon fan, you should know about shiny. It's called like Cosmic, but you can pick up things in the game that are way easier than what they make in Pokemon to find like different variants of the monsters, and it's a really fun game. It's really it was all made in Unity, which I thought was surprising.
And it looks like it's available for free on phones.
Yep. Or there's like a demo. I think it's for like $1 on phones, but I think that's like the first one. And then
play for free and unlock the full game for 99¢.
ooh,
It's so
Okay.
strange, you know. You got a $10 version on Steam,
yeah,
$1 version on phones, and a $30 version on the Switch.
yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Switch. I mean, I built it out for the physical copy when we were talking about it way back when, and I was very surprised by it. I think it only took me 30 hours to beat, which was cool. And there's a huge, which is so funny coming off Pokemon, is like there's a big post game still.
Mm. So, Monster Sanctuary or Nexamon, which should people check out first?
Monster Sanctuary, because it's on Game Pass. If you got Game Pass, check it out. Kenny got super into it. I know.
Yes, I did.
And you're still stuck at that final boss, huh?
Well, it's not even the final boss. It's like the second or third to last fight, and it's killing me, man. I saw on Reddit that I'm not the only one, so I felt a lot better after that. I felt very defeated. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Felt a lot better afterwards, and
After you looked at other people's misery as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that always comforts me too.
Misery,
I'm like, okay, thank God. Yeah,
loves company.
it wasn't just me.
Yep, that's for sure. Well, I hope you get back to it and they maybe patch it and put in.
Well, it's because what were you saying?
lower
It's like the
difficulty
synergies.
for this fight.
Yeah, it's like a specific strategy and synergy you should go in there with.
Because they don't really tell you when you're playing the game, at least in the big tutorial level that I'm in, or I just passed because I'm on like the first dungeon, and they don't really tell you. It's like, oh yeah, do use your synergies, where they're like, oh, there are all these monsters, they have all these different skill trees and stuff, you know.
Nope.
I didn't even know there were synergies.
Yeah, you kind of just go in there and you kind of could build a whole team around maybe whittling down enemies with bleed attacks or debuffs and and buffing your team, things like that. So it's when you really get into it, you're like, and then when you start looking at the goblins, you can make a whole goblin a goblin trio where like they heal each other, they boost their damage, and they also decrease damage taken because they're goblins and they're all in there together out and play together. So it's things like that you really got to look into, and you're like, wow, there's a lot.
Maybe try to put your mindset in like you're building a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Maybe you got to get the archetype synergy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. So I'm trying to build up goblins to see. Because I saw one person say, "Oh, a goblin trio is pretty good," and I'm like, "Well, I got the Goblin King, and I have like 2-3 other goblins, so maybe let's give that a try." So currently trying to build up those guys, and the tough part is when you go through it and you don't level up these monsters, then you have the good
go
thing.
Back.
Well, the good thing is that either you go back and fight them and get an egg so you can hatch them at like level 37 because I'm at I'm at max level, or you grind them up, which is time consuming, right?
Oh yeah.
So the best way is to go back and fight those specific monsters so you could get their eggs, hatch them, and then now you have them at 37 and not at 10, 12, 15, whatever level you had them at.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yep.
Okay, so Monster Sanctuary is still going strong in the back of Kenny's mind. Hopefully, he can get over that hump.
Hump.
So we all played something yesterday on stream. You can watch the video. Was it on YouTube and Twitch, Kenny?
Yes, it is.
Risk of Rain 2. Me, Tyler, and Kenny, with some added commentary from Anthony, were played for a couple hours yesterday evening. It's now in full release. When we tried it in early access, it was not. So we got to stage 5, I think was the final one that we were able to make it to. And I looked up that there are 8 in the now 1.0 plus version. Before, when it was in early access, it was just sort of never ending. What were your impressions, Kenny, on like going back to it and what had changed? Well, I guess before I ask that, I'll let people know that it's a cooperative roguelike. You can play it solo, but it's really best if you play it with friends. And you're fighting in big 3D open spaces. There's randomized bosses and levels, and power ups, and it's pretty. No run is the same. Is very apt to this type of game, especially when you're mainly talking about builds and just how things end up panning out. But anyway, what were your thoughts?
Very different from when we first tried it. I felt
Hmm.
as though something in it got ramped up. Difficulty wise, just amounts of enemies being thrown at us. Maybe something something got thrown in the mix that wasn't there the first time around, and really made these runs a lot tougher for us.
For sure.
And but it did feel it didn't defeat me in a way. Like, it didn't make me feel like, oh no, I don't want to come back to this ever again. I felt I was very enjoyable, and I think I had so much fun even at the end when I was trying to stay alive for us, and I was
Yeah, that was good.
blinking all over the maps, just kind of kiting enemies and just taking down here and there, getting more items. Hoping that I could just just whittle at the life of the big boss.
So what happened that Kenny's describing is we were at the stage 5, like I had said, and Tyler and I died, and Kenny still had half of this giant boss's health bar to take down. He's there all by himself, can't get any sort of assistance from us, and he's trying to make it happen. So he's being very cautious and jumping all around the map. And me and Tyler are kind of just sitting there and waiting, which tough to think about an elegant solution that keeps a challenge in the game, but it also feels a little like it's a big bummer when you die early in a level and you just sort of can't help out and you just need to wait till at least somebody gets to the next one. I don't know if they can think of a workaround for that, but I was feeling a little left out on the sidelines.
Yes, I definitely felt like, wow, like, man, wish the guys were alive, because I was just going. I felt clammy sometimes because of just how intensive everything was, and I was like, oh, my palms are sweating, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Arms are heavy. Mom's spaghetti. Got a rust of rain. My mom's 1940 Chevy.
Uh, I agree that it feels more challenging, and I think that's actually probably a good thing because when we played it a couple months ago and it was still in early access, the runs would go on forever. We were, an hour and a half into it, and just like, I guess we're just gonna perpetually play through this hardest section until it eventually lets you say, "Do you want to stop?" Because there's really nothing beyond here.
Yep.
And we got to that point a couple times, and it just took too long. So I'm glad that things ramp up a little bit more quickly. I think that it seemed like the level diversity was a little bit more apparent. You had sort of very visually distinctive levels from stage to stage, which I don't think was always the case before. Like, seemed a little bit more colorful and vibrant.
Yes.
Um, I think the number one issue that I have with it is the hit detection on both offense and defense is not particularly satisfying. At least when you're playing with ranged characters, and I think that it's easy for you to start getting damaged and not realize where the hell it's coming from. Like there was some runs that just I felt kind of like it was a cheap shot, like something came out of the 70 feet in the distance, sniped me in the back, and I just lost my health like that. Or there's just the moves, like the huntress who's got her L2 move is where she kind of throws out a boomerang that slashes between enemies and does a lot of damage as long as there's something for it to ricochet off of. And I think that it's a really neat concept. It just doesn't feel as kind of chunky as it should. I like even when I'm using my sniper type weapons and I should be feeling like a real pow, 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 pow. It's just like more like pick, pick, pick. And I think that they could improve that.
Okay, I definitely can agree with that. I know I felt early on. I felt like I was getting hit, and I'm like, from where?
Hmm. And maybe and you're right. I need to keep playing it more. So maybe I'll change my tune on that a little bit. Maybe that's just the noob in me. But
No,
I definitely feel,
I'd say it's not even the noob in you. I think what worked for me was just moving, constant moving. I think what I instilled, because I still didn't really know where everything was coming from. If for those that can go back and look, you'll see moments where the first time that I had to try and take on the last boss without you guys, you can see that there was times I'd blink and I blink into enemies just because I didn't know where everybody was. And I'm just blinking away from one group, blinking into another one. And what was lucky enough was I had picked up an item that gave me two charges, three charge stack to my dodge. So I was able to with
Just
the
dart everywhere, huh?
dart everywhere, and then by the time I use two darts, I'm already recharging another stack or two. So I was able to just kind of use that escapability to jump around and just keep moving. Because still, I really didn't really know where all the hits were coming. I was just kind of assuming and just picking a place and being like, well, it looks kind of empty. I'm blinking there and
Right.
just running.
Yeah. Well,
That's crazy.
we'll probably stream that at least another time or two, and maybe play it off stream and get really good at it. We shall see. But other than that, I continue to chip away at Valhalla. I'm now at the 90-hour mark, and over level 250 power, so I can do any of the main missions. So I'm just finishing that out. It's my Kenny, you described it a couple months ago as your late night game. That is now my late night game.
Nice.
But I still enjoy it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've talked about it on like 5 shows. Maybe when I finish it, I'll give my final shots. But thoughts.
Sounds good.
So other than that, you played the Gardens in Between, which is a Game Pass puzzler, and this is going to round out our games we've been playing talk. But why don't you give us the quick elevator pitch?
So, quick elevator pitch. This really has no voice acting. It's story told to you through just like I would say atmospheric puzzles. So it's the vibes, the music, the scenery. It's what I gathered from the story. It was just two friends kind of going through, recollecting, and spending the last night they could hang out together before one moves away.
Oh, that's
And so
sad.
they go through each like big moment, like big memory, big moment they had that was attached to either an item, a piece of clothing, something they played with together outdoors, or a movie they watched, a TV, a video game they played. So you go through these puzzles and you kind of relive these memories in a short sequence, and you go through this whole really short story within. It could be beaten within the first 4 to 5 hours, and or maybe a little more, and you really end up seeing the end where it's just these two friends. Spoilers, two friends who are just saying bye to each other. You see that it's nothing. It's not like somebody died or anything. It's really one friend. His parents sold the house and they're moving away.
And they're what, like tweens, teenagers?
Yeah, I would say tweens, teenagers. Boy and a girl, real close friends.
Gotcha. And this game came out a couple years ago. It's on Game Pass now. Looks like a cute little art style and short little experience. That would you recommend?
Yes, I definitely would recommend if somebody wants something where the music is relaxing and the puzzles aren't overly difficult. For the most part, they're easy, sometimes challenging, but you get through it without a guide, no problem. Definitely recommend real quick for a quick enjoyment for an afternoon, Sunday morning game type thing.
Or maybe I'll check this one out. Does look pretty appealing. Okay, guys, so let's get into the 2021 / look back to 2020, beginning of the year, end of the year special. So way back in January or late December 2019, we did an episode back in Tyler's basement where we predicted what our game of the year would be in 2020 and what our New Year's resolutions should be going forward. We want to see where we succeeded, where we failed, what games were right, what were wrong. Why don't we start off with what we had first predicted would be our game of the year in 2020. Spoilers, this is the only place where I succeeded. I chose The Last of Us Part 2. And I was right. if you listen to last week's show, that was my favorite game of the year. I think it really delivered on all the ways that it intended to. Story was great. The haters are wrong.
Yep.
And yeah. So Kenny, what did you think your game of the year would be?
Well, mine I thought would be Cyberpunk 2077.
Hmm.
And for those that are listening, please do not try to include me in the lawsuit against CD Projekt Red. I did not. This is not any promises. This was a prediction. Okay.
Yes, it was purely a prediction, and I liked how steadfast you were in it, going back and watching the video earlier today.
Kenny's starting his own lawsuit. That's why.
And Anthony, what did you predict was going to be your game of the year?
No More Heroes 3, and I was right. And my prediction for next year is that No More Heroes 3 is going to be my game of 2021.
The game that was released twice. No,
Yep.
that was the only of the three that didn't make it.
Yep.
And another thing we did was make some predictions last year about what we thought was going to happen in 2021. I don't think we're going to do that this year, but you are on like games we thought would be delayed. And you said that Cyberpunk might be delayed, and me and Kenny's reaction is just like, "Oh, dude, what you talking about? That's already been delayed. There's no way." Here we are.
Should have been delayed more.
Should have been delayed more. Released on I think December 10th. 20 days or so left in the year, as in the
squeaked
cluster
by
of 2020.
It would have been
as far as
nuts.
video games goes.
It would have been nuts that Anthony would have gotten that right if they would have delayed it any further.
I feel like they should have. I mean, I feel like they did. It's not even finished.
Yeah.
So that was your prediction last year. It's your prediction this year, and what your game of the year is going to be. Me, I think when we go back on episode 130, whatever it will be, I think Elden Ring will be my game of the year, and that it's going to come out this summer and June. I'm predicting a June release date, and that it meets everybody's expectations, that the collaboration with George R. R. Martin is seen as a thing to behold, and we finally understand why the book 6 of the Game of Thrones is still not out. It's just because he's been writing nothing but this game, hanging out with Miyazaki, and just being cool with his
That'd be sweet.
friend.
I'm gonna say that Elden Ring doesn't come out this year. That's my prediction because
Fair.
because Miyazaki's gonna be like, "Hey, where's the story?" Well, we gotta keep him. We gotta keep him waiting.
The game's
You're
not
waiting.
completely waiting on George R. R. Martin.
Miyazaki's like, wait a second, you're not treating this game like book 6. No. Come get this done now.
Where are the dragons? Show us the dragons.
Dragon.
Kenny, what's your 2021 game of the year prediction?
My game of the year prediction is Halo Infinite. For you suckers,
All right.
we delayed it a whole year so we won't have to suffer Cyberpunk.
You say that now.
We didn't do 2 months for you suckers. We did a whole year.
What do you think? They still come out with a base Xbox One version?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Well, that'd be a big change, because Phil Spencer had initially said that it would be a couple of years before there wouldn't be any cross, where you would only have Series X titles. So that would be going back on his words. You're calling Phil a liar?
Well, we did. It was not that all games would be. It would be where we only drop exclusives for it. Some games are coming out exclusive only to the Series X, like the Medium. Later
For
this
Xbox One?
later this month.
I
believe
thought
it.
that
I
was also
believe
on
it is.
Xbox One.
But if I'm correct, the last I checked, it does not have smart delivery. It is a Series X.
Okay. Well, we'll have
But I can be corrected because I sometimes read things at 3 a.m. and I'm half asleep.
Fair enough. Okay, so now let's go back, look at what we talked about, and it's a little sad because we had no idea that the upcoming pandemic was just 3 months away, and we were all optimistic about our plans to do tournaments in the area. We had one scheduled. We were going to be like a hybrid podcast / the premier place for video game tournaments in Western Mass, and that's still certainly going to be a goal going forward. We'll see how things shake out. We'll see what Tyler's aspirations still are. We'll see how we're all feeling. But we'll get to that when we get there. But let me just bring up the outline. So why don't we start with Kenny, who I got to give props to. He had the most resolutions, and he followed through with more so than we did. So consistent. You wanted to consistently stream Madden. You gave yourself
Fail.
a fail. I
Yeah.
can't quite give you a complete fail because you had at least
You got a good little streak going.
I
you had a
tried.
little streak going, and
Hey, at least
then
you tried.
Madden 20 came out, and it was a big disappointment.
Yep. Yes.
So, you at least had a few Madden Mondays, and the most important thing is that you did complete your next task, which was beat 15 games.
Yes, I
Ooh.
did. I was able to completely get through 15 games. Now it's feeling like I'm in the new year, and I'm feeling like that number's low. Those are rookie numbers now.
They are. They are. So, what did you end up in 2020 with?
23. But that was really,
23.
I was still jumping around and all that stuff. But I opened up the year hot fire, and save the number for when we're done looking back at the previous resolutions and we're putting in stone our new ones.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna keep me in suspense.
Keep you in suspense, Wiley. Then after that, the next one was hitting 100K gamer score. Succeeded. Engage. Then after that was engaged with other podcasts. I call that a half done. I've engaged
Studio
with
149.
Studio 149. Not really much at anybody else. Also get involved with gaming communities. Our gaming community, Studio 149's gaming community, and I'm slightly active in the Xbox Ambassadors Discord. So that's half done, I would say. Then the following one, which was my last one, I epically failed, which was play Red Dead 2 and Breath of the Wild. General backlog goals.
Oh my god. You just sparked a memory in my head. Guess what I told you? I didn't even tell you guys I bought this week.
Oh.
I got Red Dead 2 for $20 on the Xbox One.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
No, not yet.
It's a great time. It's
I
great.
know. I gotta hook it up.
Game of the year 2019 or 2018. Excuse me.
I'm gonna hook that bad boy up.
It's a great one, man. Hope you enjoy.
He's
I
gonna,
bought my
he's gonna
physical
put it
copy
in the backlog like me.
Oh yeah, it's already in the backlog. It's up there, but see, it was cool. I got the don't fall down.
Okay, and I know Tyler's not here, but I'm just gonna mention what he said. Maybe we can give our
I got a map.
can judge
our pass
on
or
how he
fail.
did.
I'm gonna hit him
Yeah.
with the Julius Caesar.
Tyler, stream more. Can we give him a happy on that?
Yeah,
He did he did the
he did
Xbox or the PlayStation 5 opening.
He
He
did
did
do Demon Souls. He did do for a little bit Tokyo Sessions Mirage for a little bit.
Yep.
And that was it. So we'll give him a halfie.
Yeah.
You only get a half chub, not a full chub.
And let's see, get into an MMO, specifically Temtem.
He definitely didn't
Ooh.
do he didn't do that.
He didn't even buy Temtem.
Nope. Nope.
Let's see, get involved with gaming communities, such as on Reddit, Twitch, and forums.
I didn't hear him doing much of that. So until he can vouch for himself, giving them the thumbs down. Lucky I didn't have these graphics ready, and I would have been like thumbs down.
But if he had put a goal and make improvements around his house and build things,
exactly,
he would have got a pass.
But that's not that he could have been like, well, I'm Animal Crossing my house, I'm gonna improve it. That would have been a pass, but he didn't. So bang.
Okay, so the next one was do more tournaments. No fault of his own there.
That one gives him an automatic thumbs up just because COVID stopped it.
Yep. And then the final one, I think he's right about this. Complete one game a month. I don't think it happened every month, but there were probably some months where he did a couple. So we'll give him. I think he probably ended up at around 12 for the year, although that's just a guess based on my weekly conversations with him about video games.
I'm trying to think back, and I'd say he came up short maybe by a game or two. That's me taking a leap there.
Maybe we'll have to go back and
There
see.
is a chance that he might have come up short.
Mhm.
He started out on fire to begin the year, got quiet after he got really quiet for a few months after Persona 5 Royal. It was like he was gaming tapped out,
Mm,
and then he picked back up.
yeah, for sure with Ghost of Tsushima, and I think he's
Yep.
been pretty consistently
From there, he picked it up
consistent with that.
consistently. That's why I would say I think like you said, either 12 exactly, or he came up short at 10 or 11.
Mhm.
So,
My
but
final count, if anybody wants to know, for this year was 32. Last year it was 42. Um, I think it was just because I played more stuff and didn't finish as much. I don't know. There's no way I played less with it being quarantine.
yeah,
Um,
let's hear yours, Wiley. 'Cause
all
I'm
right,
leaving
let's
the
hear
best.
mine.
I'm leaving the best for last.
Okay, so I wanted to try new genres. I think that I give myself sort of like a half and half on this. I did try a couple card games. I tried Slay the Spire, Monster Train. I dabbled with something like Hypnospace Outlaw on PC. Never played anything like that before. Played a little bit of Age of Empires. Not enough where I really feel like I gave it its due, but I at least gave it a shot. A lot of this has been in part because Tyler sold me his gaming PC on the cheap, so thank you for that. And you know, I think I'm pretty settled into my niche at this point. Like I feel like there are still so many areas I want to explore. This isn't really a passion of mine anymore going forward. Like that I have to play every sort of game. Um, and yeah, so I'll give myself a nice try and barely passing grade on that resolution.
All
Okay, so
right.
my next one was write more reviews. I wrote one.
That's more than none.
That was more than what you did the year before.
Um, is it?
Yeah,
I don't
Oh,
know. How many did you
Jesus.
rate the year before?
none.
I none. Yeah. So I definitely failed on that end. I think a lot of that was because we weren't meeting in person anymore. I didn't have, I'm not as advanced with really any of you as far as editing and things of that nature. So I feel like, and I'm somebody that struggles with learning new things. I'm easily frustrated. I'm easy to give up. Unfortunately, that's sort of a bad trait of mine. It's not always the case. There's a lot of areas where I'm pretty persistent. For instance, bosses in Dark Souls. Uh, but as far as that goes, I do want to say that I know I've fallen short as far as that goes. I wanted to do more stuff that was written out. That was really the second half. Like it wasn't only reviews, it was, just my thoughts on something happening in the industry or a particular set of games or looking back on a game from when I was a kid. Just things that I watch other YouTubers do that I wish I was capable, or I know I am capable, but I would wish that I had the drive to go out and do. So in 2021, I want to sort of just look at things from well, anyway, do you have any thoughts on that, guys,
I think
before I keep talking?
I want to say that even though you came out with just one like review, I think it was a good start. It was something that we could look back and be like, okay, this really worked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it wasn't because it was kind of like a combined effort. You did your review, and I feel as though we could have definitely done better. Kind of even just talking about what you wanted recorded gameplay wise,
Mm-hmm.
but we winged it and we put a product out, and it wasn't too bad. Um, that was also early on with my editing skills as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
I've improved a lot better with editing. Still learning a lot more with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great thing that we did. I like the review you put together, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, and I don't really want to give myself concrete number, but I'll say like if I could do a handful of those a year, I'd feel that would be,
Yeah,
and continue with my usual hosting of the show, jumping in on streams.
Yeah,
Kenny,
I would say that trying to be like, oh, I have to do 12 reviews is a crazy quota.
Mhm.
I think going in
Even
and
one at a time.
yeah, even going in and being like starting an hour or two of the game and saying, "Whoa, mate, you know what? I want to review this one for sure."
mhm.
That's big because then you're picking and choosing when to do it. So if you do only three, you only thought you wanted to review three games. You know, like these games really hit home to the point where you wanted to invest that time to review. You know.
Yeah, and I think so. Why don't we go forward talking about where we want things to go in 2021? How we
Whoa,
want me?
one second
Okay.
before we get there. The man, the myth, the legend, his 2020 resolution was only one thing.
Oh, right.
And that was to expand his horizons with new genres. And what did my man do?
I played Mario Sports Advanced Tour Golf on my emulator, so that counts.
As I was saying, what did he do? He went back in time. He said, screw you and New Horizons. I'm going back and playing the games I love to play.
Mm-hmm.
And forget all of you guys.
Goodbye. I played my Mario Sports game. That was good enough for me.
He said, I expanded. I crossed the river. It was only 2 feet wide, but I crossed it.
It was 2 feet wide. There's a bunch of pixels everywhere. Gotta say, Camelot does make some pretty good sports RPG games. Mario Tennis for Advance and Mario Golf Advance. Highly recommend.
If you do go back and look at the episode from last year, episode 35, Anthony, it's pretty humorous the way you say it. You're like, I play a lot of monster hunting games, a lot of JRPGs, stuff like that. Just want to sort of expand my horizons and maybe give some sports games or some more action games a shot.
I'm a fucking liar. I'm a bold-faced liar. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just can't do it.
Hey, it's all good. You gave it a shot.
I bought Red Dead, but that was in the new year, so I guess that's still alive.
You're gonna like Red Dead. Did you play one?
I did. It was a lot of fun from like the hour, 2 hours I played.
I hope that the slowness of 2 doesn't turn you off.
So yeah, it's like what you start off in like a bunch of snow. That's what I heard. It's like a snow thing.
And I'm mainly talking about the slowness of just the movement of the characters, and the methodical way that you go around each house and open the drawers one by one when you're looking for something.
I do like that.
You do like that? Okay.
Well, yeah, it's like a Skyrim kind of explory.
Yeah, except for instead of just hitting a button and the drawer magically opening, you take your hand out, wrap your fingers around the handle, wiggle them around, pull the drawer out real slow.
You're really selling me.
Take a moment to observe what's in the drawer. Contemplate on whether you want to pick it up. Close the drawer.
It sounds like me when
your decision.
You think you pull it back. Sounds like me when I'm on too much Adderall at work. I'm like, what else I needed?
I for one, really enjoyed the real cinematic and realistic cowboy game they made.
I do like all the lore. That's what kind of pulled me in. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about this like lore that spans from like Grand Theft Auto 5 to like Red Dead 2 about some like time traveler and some weird cult stuff. Yeah, so I was like, ooh,
that's cool.
So I was thinking, right, it's just us three, but I'm gonna throw out some makeshift 2021 resolutions for Tyler in here, right? So
I wasn't gonna do that, but feel free.
So Tyler's gonna stay steady in what he normally does, which is beat two handful of games throughout the year, right? Mm-hmm. Somewhere in that range. I think he does. He keeps steady to the 8 to 12 a year. He runs through it, right? What I will say, because I know he likes being a producer in the background, so I'm not gonna toss him in for streams, but we're gonna hold Tyler to some more graphics for streams, because he does put these nice little graphics that we see on like the one we have right now floating right behind our backs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So a couple new graphics for some streams would be nice. Some emotes. Well, we're gonna have the do artistic one. Keep on with some of those funky.
I gotta do more
funky emotes for us, but definitely some graphics that we can use in on stream on like video, like if ever me and Anthony were playing some together, or all three of us or all four of us, that we could do the video, have everybody's face on the side, game right here to the right of it, where we're all kind of on stream, things like that, funky, nice looking graphics. I'm a hold title to that for the next year.
Word. I think he can handle that.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
That was as I was expecting.
No, nothing crazy.
I guess one thing I'd like to do, and it's more just about changing my overall habits, is just not being afraid to just jump in and do something without thinking about it or without overthinking it. Like you and I played through Hive Busters the other day, and I think that's something that I'd like to do more of. Like hey, this new DLC came out. Why don't we just play through it together? Like
Yeah.
just not thinking everything has to be this well thought out, like multi-episode show or something that we end up always talking about and doesn't usually come to fruition. Just sort of being more open to collaboration on simpler or bigger tasks. Just sort of trying to find the joy in having three friends that are talking on a daily basis in the Discord, and making recommendations to each other, and just it is what it is about whether or not we end up being financial success down the road if we end up doing tournaments. But like what we have still is, a lot of folks don't have something like a close-knit community like that where they can talk.
True.
Just being able to enjoy that for what it is, and just not be afraid to take risks and look stupid. Just sort of being.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think that's a nice one to have, Riley, because honestly, I think sometimes we can get caught up in the, what content are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And sometimes it's just throw a freaking game in and then just hang out. And if people hop in the chat, let's talk to them, and that's it. Call it a day. Just go with it.
Exactly. I think that we can sometimes overthink things, and it's a good thing to just be comfortable with our 200 subs. We get more, awesome. If we don't, too bad. But I think if we're engaged and we're interacting with folks when they do pop in, that will continue to grow. And I love that we have the small audience that we do now, especially those that come in on a regular basis. But I see the podcast numbers, people are listening, even though it's not a whole lot, but I do like that the audio show does have a small following as well. So
nice.
Anyway, that's
one
my main thing.
That's one right there. Anthony, you are the man, the myth, the legend. Give me one. You setting out into more horizons, new pastures again?
Animal Crossing, new pastures.
Or are you going to go the other route? Something we talked about earlier, like a month or two ago, about putting together your backlog and tackling some of that.
I should, and I will, maybe. But yeah, I definitely think I should. There's a lot of backlog games I really need to start playing. I think a goal of mine should be to, like Wiley was saying, kind of throw out there, like without thinking about it too much, being like, oh, which game should I play? Which game should I kind of tackle? Just throw it in, start playing it either on or off stream, recording some of it, not recording some of it, but just figure out what I'm going to do with that. And then, not overthinking it and being like, oh, well, don't let the whole sheer number of it overwhelm you, and just kind of.
Did you read that article, the Kotaku article that I sent, put in the chat that was about
I started to.
Managing.
I did not read it all the way, but I have it pinned.
So okay. One thing I did read was that it was talking about how sometimes when we look at our backlogs, we try to tackle like smaller games first, because we're like, oh, let's leave big games later. Let's knock out the small games first. And they're like, well, no, like you should tackle those first, like the big games first, and tackle the smaller, not so lengthy games after,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting, and it has a good psychological reasoning for it. If people want to search
Yeah.
backlog management Kotaku, I'm sure you could find it.
Yep. So I definitely thought that was good. I was like, wow, okay. And I know that my backlog is always going to be ever expanding, keep increasing. We got games coming out left and right that I'm going to be picking up, and who knows when I'll get to them and play them. But it happens. It happens. You know.
It's a lot, but hopefully, you know, all we can do one day at a time. Lists, make lists. That's the biggest thing that's been helping me. Making lists.
What kind of lists?
Anything pretty much. I have this nice little notebook I've been keeping of just like my agenda or like stuff I gotta do, like mainly like my commission stuff, my commission lists.
Nice.
Just like a bunch of crap, little couple doodles. Like I drew boobs a couple times on a palm tree.
Nice.
It's mainly checklists. I think checklists are a big help.
Yeah, I do my checklist on my Note 20. You know, because sooner or later we're gonna be sponsored by Samsung Note 20.
Oh yeah,
Note 30. By the time we were sponsored by Samsung, but Samsung Note 30.
Note 30. Hell yeah.
What do they do at Note 20? 21?
Yeah, they'll go 21.
So?
Yeah.
No, 21. 21's sexy sounding number.
Or they're gonna just go Samsung Note Infinite, then Infinite One.
Infinite minus one or infinite plus one.
Yep.
Infinite plus one. Actually, see, I said something last time.
So my first resolution is not gonna be anything as zen and as reflective as you guys. It's gonna be the number Wiley was looking for. I'm putting it out into the world. The big
What?
5-0.
Ooh. 5-0. Gonna beat 50 games this year.
You're turning 50? I'll beat 50 games.
I'm gonna beat 50 games this year.
Ooh, baby.
That's a lot of games.
You heard it here first.
I believe you can do it because you're going to play a lot of short games on purpose.
Whoa.
Or
if it's on Game Pass, it's not my fault. I didn't tell Game Pass to put short games there. They did it.
Well, there's a bunch of them. And if you do beat it, I'll give you props, but just know that I always organically, if it was a 50-hour game, counts as one. If it's a 3-hour game, counts as one.
Yep.
So,
And I will be playing the 50-hour games as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the next update. I'm waiting for one more update to Cyberpunk before I jump into Cyberpunk.
well, you're probably. I'm not gonna race you for that. I'm gonna do my usual because I don't like. I still already have my own personal thing. If I get too involved with you,
we could be you could be a tornado of like positivity towards each other, or you could just bring each other down. Who knows? You could just be like.
What the problem is that we already witnessed it with Tyler. Tyler was all Monster Train, yeah, and then I took it to a whole nother level, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done with Monster Train."
And I don't want that to happen with video games as a whole. So, so yeah, keep that list to yourself. We'll revisit it, episode 130, whatever. And I think just another thing I'll mention, this is kind of a fun, long episode, but at the end of episode 35, I was like, whenever we do this next year, episode 78 or whatever it'll be, it's actually 86, which means that we only missed about 2 episodes all year.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Consistency is key. Payoff in the end.
That's what I got to say about working out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, still Ring Fit every day but one in 2021 for me. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
That's been keeping me feeling good for the most part.
All right.
Should we wrap it up?
No, I was gonna say, any more resolutions out of people?
Oh, any more? Okay, yeah. Let's go at least one more resolution.
More lists.
More lists.
More lists. I want to make more lists, and I want to post more games.
Ooh, what you mean lists? Like you want to make your own top 5 videos? Is that what you're talking
It was
about?
more like a personal. I don't know. I feel like it's oversaturated.
I would
like top 5s.
I would say
it's like organizing.
Your own personal list would be a nice one.
Yeah, that's true. So do that. More content.
Forget these other lists. It's always the same videos, games in there.
I think you're pretty good sticking with your niche. The monster stuff. It's really what you're most passionate about, I guess, in gaming. Stuff like Monster Sanctuary and Nexomon and Pokemon. So yeah, I think that whatever creative ways you want to showcase that, I think is cool.
Cool. That works for me.
My second resolution, I'll be honest, I am thinking of this on the spot. I want to get a PS5.
Yeah.
No, it's a cop out.
I think that's a worthy goal. They're still pretty hard to get.
Well, if I don't get one by the end of 2021, this is going to be an angry episode next year.
It's gonna be a bad year.
I would like to play more games with you guys. How about that? More often playing games with you guys.
That's a good one.
I like that.
It's still a lot weekly, or we're trying to make Monday nights a regular thing.
Yeah.
And Kenny, we've been playing. We did Gear or whatever. We've been playing some stuff, but just having it be more of a consistent thing as opposed to. It's been a while.
Occasional.
Since I played with my podcast crew. Like we should just make it more of a, if not scheduled thing,
like
just
like a hangout night,
Yeah.
and we're just also streaming it as well. Like it's a casual. Like I said it this past Monday, I was like yesterday when we were streaming Risk of Rain too. I'm like, this is a casual stream. When Tyler gets here, he'll hop in and we'll just start over from the beginning. And it's not like we're trying to beat this game. We're playing this game. Whoever hops in the chat and talks to us, they talk to us.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's also breaking down the expectations from those things and reminding us that we play video games because we love it, not because of anything else. So when we streaming is just an extra. That means people are hopping in to talk to us, and we talk to them, we joke, have some fun there. But
it's for the love of the games.
Exactly. So this is my second resolution, and this is gonna go this is the very interesting twist to my first one.
Oh.
That
big.
Part of my 50 games for this year is going to be at least 3 from software games.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
Drop the mic. This is how I walk away.
Whoa.
So, dude, that's great. You should watch this dude called Nuts Gaming, his Dark Souls streams for, I don't know. I don't know. You probably don't want to stream him just because of the pressure that puts on, but he calls himself like the Dark Souls noob, and his stuff's hilarious. But anyway, which ones are you thinking? Do you have? I know Bloodborne's got to be one of them.
I know Bloodborne's one of them. Sekiro's in there.
Good luck.
So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give most of them a shot and see what I can get through. And
Which do you already own?
So I already own Dark Souls 1 through 3. I own Bloodborne. I own Sekiro.
Okay, so you're good.
Oh, there you go. You're all set.
Yeah.
So
and technically, I believe. Do I have it? Maybe on my PS3. I might have Demon Souls. Maybe the original.
I'd wait for the
PS5
remake on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it doesn't hold up in its own right, but as someone that doesn't have any nostalgia for it, I just go jump into the PS5 once you get that. But
yeah.
Do you have one that you're leaning towards starting with?
So I did hear that Dark Souls 3 is kind of the easier one out of the trio and out of the bunch. So I was thinking about jumping in there.
I don't disagree with it, but I think that you can make a case for 2 or 1 as well. Like 2 is the easier base game. The DLC is probably the hardest stuff in the entire series until the Dark Souls 3 DLC.
Okay.
So I think you can get through that without a whole lot of trouble. It's extremely long. 2 is the longest of them all.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of bosses that are like, what? That wasn't hard at all. But they're not all like that. But anyway, I wouldn't start there either because it's just it's the least great, and I say that isn't it still probably in my top 25 of all time.
Yeah.
Like it's so anyway, super cool. Looking forward to viewing and just hearing about that, because it's always been one that I wanted to connect with somebody on the channel, but Tyler's dabbled, but he's gets. We've never been playing one at the same time, or like really been able to chat it up with him. So cool.
Yep. So
All
that was how I ended the resolutions. I thought that would be a nice little twist to my my 50 goal.
It legitimately made me excited. That's why I was clapping.
Definitely do Bloodborne. I gotta beat that one. Still gotta beat that.
All right, so we're wrapping it here, guys.
We're wrapping it here. That's been the Level With You show. Thank you so much for joining us in the year of our Lord 2021. We'll be back next Tuesday, 5:30 Eastern Time. Until then,
goodbye.
That's about it. That's all, folks.